Hi everybody, happy Monday and welcome back to my channel. Last night, Minister Gayton Mckenzie had a live where he was addressing all these allegations of racism that he's finding himself in. And he's obviously apologized to the people and also mostly the voters of the Patriotic Alliance. Also spoke about the history, his background, and most importantly said that he's going to meet these political parties that are taking him in the ballots. And that was Action SA and the Economic Freedom Fighters. What though was concerning to me is that he didn't touch the ATM. I don't know if he's afraid of the ATM or he thinks the ATM is not much of a threat, but he didn't address the ATM taking him to the ethics committee. But he spoke like a lot of things, including his history, the journey between him and Kenny Kunene, and the fact that he will never be racist and he will never use those words, the K word. And also said that he definitely cringes and feels disappointed and embarrassed that he used to tweet some of the tweets that he tweeted. And I think as South Africans, we are left with one question and one question only, and that is whether President Cyril Ramaphosa can actually dismiss the minister. And in this video, I wanted us to look at that as the main question. The simple answer to this is yes, the president can dismiss the minister, but now the practicality of it is another story, because people are also using the cases of Senzo Mchunu, the cases of Nobuhle Nkabane, the cases of the minister from the DA to say that he was able to remove the minister from the DA, was able to remove Nkabane. Why not remove Gayton? It is very important for you guys to recognize and realize that the minister from the Democratic Alliance as well as Nkabane, it didn't just happen overnight. It didn't just happen today and tomorrow. It took time for him to get to that level of firing these people. Even though there was public outrage, these people were trending almost every time. There was a lot of call that came from the public that removed Minister Nkabane. She's done like irregularities in the appointment of SITA board members. And also, this man went to the United States of America as a DA delegate and went to negotiate with the United States of America government without consulting the president and actually getting the approval. And it took time for him. When we have forgotten about the United States visit, that's when the president actually dealt with the minister or the deputy minister and removed him. Even Senzo Mchunu, he took time for him to even come and address the public. It was after serious outrage, after public outrage, people were talking about Mkhwanazi the whole week. That's when we saw the president speaking and actually deciding to put the minister on special leave. And guys, you must remember that this is the government of national unity, and Gayton is not the member of the ANC. Gayton is just a member of the GNU. And in most cases in the ANC, when they have to remove or when they have to use the step aside rule, if you guys remember, there's a rule in the ANC that says step aside, and that step aside rule is mostly done to ANC member. It's mostly applicable to ANC member. Hence, it was easy for Senzo Mchunu to be moved aside, to step aside as the minister and find another minister that will stand in his position. Whereas with Gayton, he's not a member of the ANC. The president can use the strict method, which is to remove him. But also, the president cannot use the strict method and just let it be, because every minister has went through public outrage, have went through embarrassment. Even though there hasn't been many precedents whereby we found a minister being accused of racism. Instead, we found members of parliament being accused of racism. Also, we remember, guys, the local councillor that was charged and disciplined for racist comments. And that member was the member of the Economic Freedom Fighters, which is Ubuntu Ramabuntu. And Ubuntu was a chancellor in Tshwane. And he faced criminal charges after racism remarks at a council meeting in 2024. The DA filed a complaint with SAPS. This is an example of local political accountability and criminal complaint process being used. So these things, they happen, but we find it first time that we see a minister facing something like this. It will definitely be very interesting to see the precedents that President Cyril Ramaphosa will set going forward as to what happens to ministers who are found with such remarks. But it's not going to be a thing that tomorrow he will get dismissed. No, guys. It will take time for him to get to a point of dismissal. Actually, they will investigate these claims. They will get to a point. It's a long process that even after we've forgotten, that's when the president will take steps. So the question of president is going to remove him. Please, president, let him leave the position. Please let him step down and all of that. And you can even see from Gayton. Gayton is very confident that he's going nowhere. Let me play the video.
So I've decided I'm not going to resign. You guys are calling for me to resign. I'm not going to resign. I've got work to do for South Africa. I must unite the races. And they very strategic. They know social cohesion is part of our job. And you can't really do the job if you yourself are racist.
So this is an example that the minister is not going anywhere, and maybe he's already spoken to the president, because I've even seen people saying that, why, president, you're not addressing the issue of Gayton Mckenzie, because the president, instead, we see from their Twitter page that they've only addressed the issue of the national dialogue. They haven't said anything about Gayton Mckenzie. ANC has been very quiet about Gayton Mckenzie. They've not even released a statement regarding this situation. So that should give you some light as to what are they going to do. High chances they're just going to deal with it in closed doors and let it go. And I think is one of the biggest things that Gayton has done is to take accountability and come into the fore and say that I'm very embarrassed. I was young, I was a cheese boy, I didn't even know at that time that I was even going to come to politics. Let me just play that video where he says that he never knew that he would even be in politics.
Politics was the furthest thing from our minds on thing. But we never once said racist things. I cringe when I look at some of the things I used to say. I'm embarrassed of, one day I don't know what I said, and then one bishop said, you guys are going to hell. And I said to the bishop, am I proud? I saw the tweet. I'm not proud. In my entire life, I have never called anybody the K word. Never. Where's the victims? This is a political campaign driven by EFF together with some, they call them influencers on Twitter. Excuse me. Let them show me. You said to you, Gayton, said to point B, you said to that person, this person, you use the K word when referring to that person. They can't. They have gone back to, do you know they went back 11 years? Do you know how much money it is to have people investigate each and everything that you've done in your life? Now this is a political campaign.
So all of these things will make it easier for the president to take a much lenient approach instead of like being very literal and very robust and very hard on the situation. I think it will definitely take a lenient approach because of how Gayton is approaching this whole situation. Gayton, guys, give it to him, is really smart, I must say. I'm really impressed as to how he's dealt with the situation. Not just the situation, even the Kenny Kunene situation. He's really smart. And I think that most of the times we don't find people like him. Most of the times people have a lot of pride, a lot of egos. I've never heard Senzo Mchunu apologizing. I've never heard Senzo Mchunu taking accountability. Maybe it's because the charges that they're facing are very serious. I've never heard even Kabani. Kabani kept on saying that, no, I did nothing wrong. They kept on defending her and shielding her. So I think Gayton, him having that live, has put him in a much, lenient side of things. And people would want president to be a little bit lenient with whatever punishment. Probably he'll be fined. They'll just make him pay a fine in the ethics after the ethics committee has investigated. But I don't think South Africans should expect that thing will happen tomorrow or at the end of the week. It will take time, and we should brace ourselves. I think at the end of the day, we should just put it at the back of our minds that we hope that the president will do something about this whole thing. You see, guys, you need to acknowledge that the government of national unity becomes complex when such situations come, because there is no one law that is accommodating for all these type of situations. Probably when they made this GNU, they didn't even have a document where they were saying, if you are found doing this, if you are found doing this is what happens. They just were looking at the terms of the GNU, how are they going to move with their partnership. Another call that I think South Africans have forgotten is the call for the party to dismiss him. Yes, he's the founder, yes, but the call for the party to suspend him or make him do something is what is supposed to be done by South Africans. But most South Africans, they think since he's the leader and the founder, who are you going to write to in the party, because he's that person. But one thing that I've said that he's taking accountability, so it'll be hard to actually prosecute him, because he's actually, came to the fore and made people to now soften their hearts and be like, probably let's forgive him. Just like what Open Chat Kids did. They apologized and found ways and said, we're going to get assistance, we're going to, report and do 1, 2, 3 so that we can show that we are determined to change and be better people. So I think also with Gayton, what he did is to give him that part of leniency. So yeah, guys, those are some of the complexities of the GNU. It's very interesting case, and I hope if the dynamics of the GNU will help us see as to what is going to be done to such people, and whether they've laws around these situations, and if they don't, what are they thinking about? Are they going to have laws that are going to accommodate such situations? Because I think that GNU is complicated because it has mixture of people from different parties, different policies, different everything. And now they have to come together and work and form a government. So it's very interesting now to see as to whether they're going to look into that or they're just going to let it be like the way it is. Because if they're going to leave it the way it is, we're still going to find more things, guys. We're still going to, more other ministers are going to come to the fore, and we'll find that they've said really bad things about people, whether it's the same race, the same gender, or whatever the case may be. But you're still going to find a lot of things that people have said, and I wonder if the GNU is accommodative of such situations. Nonetheless, guys, please comment your thoughts, tell me what you think. Otherwise, I'll see you on my next upload. Bye.